We're going to be hearing a lot more about the potential for this June 12th summit to be back on throughout the day today. A White House official told me a short time ago that June 12th is, quote, looking good. Still not back on track yet, but a lot closer than it was last week when the president sent that letter to Kim Jong Un saying, by the way, our summit's going to be canceled. You mentioned it at the top of this. One of North Korea's highest ranking officials, Kim Jong-chul, who together with Kim Jong Un's sister led the delegation from North Korea to the Pyeongchang Olympics earlier this year. He's seen here walking through the airport in Beijing. He is headed for New York, and he'll be having talks with U.S. officials and Chinese officials in New York. He was also the former spy chief of North Korea. So this fellow really is at the very top of the pecking order there in North Korea. He's also the guy who's in charge of North-South relations between North Korea and South Korea. The president tweeting optimism this morning, saying, quote, we have put together a great team for our talks in North Korea. Meetings are currently taking place concerning summit and more. Kim Jong-chul, the vice chairman of North Korea, heading now to New York. Solid response to my letter. Thank you. Kim Jong-chul would be the highest-ranking North Korean official to come to the United States in 18 years. The last time a high-ranking North Korean official came here was back in 2000. One of the leaders of Kim Jong-il's party meeting with President Clinton. That then precipitated a visit of Madeleine Albright, the then Secretary of State, to Pyongyang. There are a couple of U.S. teams that are in Singapore right now for talks with the North Koreans to try to put the summit back on track. Kellyanne Conway talked about that on Fox and Friends this morning. Listen here.
The president sent over two delegations, one for logistics and one for more diplomatic purposes, that are on the ground making the logistic preparations for June 12th. But as the president said, it doesn't happen June 12th. It could happen thereafter. What he's been able to do in such a compressed short amount of time is nothing short of historic and remarkable.
There's been a turnaround in the prospect for talks between the United States and North Korea. There's also been somewhat of a turnaround in the Democratic perception of all of this. You'll remember Democrats heaped criticism on the president last Thursday when he sent that letter to Kim Jong Un canceling the summit. Well, listen to Democrats who are now being almost mildly complimentary of the president. Listen here.
I think it's possible to have a constructive and positive summit, and I certainly prefer President Trump's choice now of diplomacy over threatening fire and fury, and I commend him and Secretary Pompeo for gaining the release of 3 Americans held in North Korea and recently another American released from Venezuela, and I certainly hope that he is successful.
We're likely not going to hear anything from the president except for tweets until he leaves the White House headed for Nashville, Tennessee this afternoon in the 3 o'clock hour. He's got a big campaign rally tonight at Opryland, so we'll likely hear a lot from him then. But again, Bill, stay tuned because the White House is going to start releasing some more details surrounding whether or not this summit is going to be back on. And again, I'm told it's looking good for June the 12th.
We shall wait. Thank you, John Roberts, leading our coverage there. Thank you, John.